From the golden age to the streaming era, Disney's idea of masculinity has changed dramatically over the last 90 years. Walt Disney Animation Studios has produced animated films from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937 to Zootopia 2 nearly 90 years later. While the studio is often associated with its iconic princesses, its male characters have evolved just as much over time. That matters because Disney has been watched by generations of people, and its portrayals of men have both reflected and reinforced ideas about what masculinity should look like. In his cultivation theory, media scholar George Gerbner argued that repeated media messages can shape how audiences understand social norms and reality. Because of that, Disney's male characters provide an interesting way to look at how expectations of masculinity have changed over time. I would argue that Disney masculinity has evolved through three major stages: the perfect prince, the proving hero, and the emotionally available partner. Each stage contributed something valuable, but each also had its shortcomings. So let's dive right in. Disney's early films featured several versions of this archetype, including Prince Florian from Snow White and Prince Charming from Cinderella. However, I want to focus on Prince Philip from Sleeping Beauty. In the film, Philip escapes Maleficent's imprisonment, defeats her in dragon form, and awakens Aurora with true love's kiss. His role is defined almost entirely by courage, action, and heroic sacrifice. Philip is handsome, brave, noble, and confident, but he is also emotionally restrained compared to the male characters Disney would create later. Through Philip, as well as Florian and Charming, Disney presented an ideal of masculinity in which a man is expected to already have everything together. This model emphasizes positive qualities like courage, responsibility, self-sacrifice, and moral clarity. At the same time, it promotes an unrealistic standard of perfection and leaves little room for emotional depth, tying a man's worth almost entirely to heroic action. Later characters like Robin Hood and Thomas O'Malley from the Aristocats began moving away from this model. They were still confident and capable, but they were also more playful, flawed, and expressive, paving the way for a new kind of Disney hero. No character represents that shift better than Hercules. Released in 1997 during Disney's Renaissance era, Hercules introduced a different kind of masculine ideal, the proving hero. Unlike Prince Philip, Hercules starts his story feeling inadequate. After being taken from Olympus and transformed into a mortal, he grows up feeling different from everyone around him. When he learns who he really is, he becomes determined to prove to Zeus that he is a true hero and worthy of returning home. Throughout the film, Hercules struggles with insecurity, loneliness, and self-doubt because he believes he must accomplish something great before he deserves acceptance. This was a major shift in Disney's portrayal of men. Hercules is more emotionally complex and relatable than the princes who came before him. Instead of starting out perfect, he gets to struggle, fail, and grow. However, this archetype still has an important limitation. Hercules ties his self-worth to achievement. Masculinity is no longer something already attained, but it is still something to earn. The message changes from a man should already have everything together to a man should prove himself worthy. Other Renaissance heroes, such as Aladdin and Tarzan, follow a similar pattern as they search for belonging, recognition, and acceptance. At the same time, these films begin to suggest that character matters more than achievement. Hercules ultimately becomes a true hero not because of his strength, but because of his willingness to sacrifice himself for Meg. Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame pushes this idea even further. He is neither physically idealized nor widely admired. Instead, his value comes from empathy, kindness, courage, and moral character. In many ways, he serves as a bridge to Disney's modern era. Disney's modern era reflects many of the conversations about masculinity that emerged in the 21st century. Characters like Naveen from The Princess and the Frog, Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph, and Hero from Big Hero 6 are more willing to express their emotions, acknowledge their flaws, and accept that masculinity does not require perfection. The Disney character who best represents this modern archetype is Kristoff from Frozen and Frozen 2. Kristoff still shares many of the strengths of the perfect prince. He is brave, dependable, and willing to sacrifice for the people he loves. He also has the emotional depth and relatability of the proving hero. In Frozen 2, his song Lost in the Woods openly explores feelings of confusion, insecurity, and self-doubt. What sets Kristoff apart is his approach to relationships and self-worth. He is supportive, communicative, emotionally aware, and secure enough to help others succeed without needing to be the center of attention. When Anna faces challenges, he supports her without taking over, showing that strength and vulnerability can coexist. At the same time, Kristoff is not a perfect model of masculinity. His role in Frozen 2 is largely reactive, reflecting a broader criticism that modern Disney sometimes emphasizes emotional supportiveness at the expense of leadership and independent growth. Rather than replacing older virtues, Disney's strongest male characters tend to combine them. Courage, responsibility, emotional honesty, self-awareness, and compassion all have value, and Disney's modern era has made meaningful progress toward that balance. Ultimately, Disney's portrayal of masculinity has evolved alongside the culture that produced it. From Philip's perfect prince confidence, to Hercules' need to prove himself, to Kristoff's emotional openness and supportiveness, Disney has gradually expanded what it means to be masculine. Each era contributed something valuable. The perfect prince emphasized courage and sacrifice. The proving hero made room for insecurity and growth. The emotionally available partner demonstrated that strength and vulnerability can coexist. At the same time, each era had its limitations, reminding us that no single version of masculinity is complete. Disney's male characters matter not only because they entertain audiences, but because they help shape the expectations people carry with them. Disney has not simply replaced one model of masculinity with another. Instead, it has gradually developed a broader understanding of masculinity, one that combines courage, character, and emotional honesty. And while Disney still has room to grow, its greatest lesson may be that the ideal man is not found in Prince Philip, Hercules, or Kristoff alone, but in the best qualities of all three.